Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you about my goals of 2020 and 2021. First part of this video, we're going to check up on what my goals of 2020 were and how I did with them. And I have a feeling it wasn't great. And then we're going to talk about what my goals are for 2021. But before we get into the goals, a shout out to today's sponsor, Skillshare. Ever want to write a book, but find that it's too hard? You want to make a YouTube channel, but the equipment is impossible. Narrating sounds fun, but you can't figure out how. We make goals for the following year, but never follow through. Well, lucky for you, I have a solution. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes where you can explore new skills and deepen existing passions. There's so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives. Skillshare offers creative classes designed for real life and all the circumstances that come with it. These lessons can help you stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce you to a community of millions. Like this class that I've recently started taking, Creativity Unleashed, Discover, Hone, and Share Your Voice Online by Nathaniel Drew. And this membership has no ads, and it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. And the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial for premium membership. I vaguely remember some of my goals of 2020, and that's about all I have for you. So let's watch the video. So my first goal for 2020 is to make sure that I read at a minimum 2 books a month that you guys are sending me, and I have it split up so that I'm not accidentally neglecting certain ones. So what I've done is I've taken all the books that you have sent me, and the ones that I'm the most excited about, that I already knew about, I already had on my radar, and now I just have a copy that I can physically read. These are in one pile, and I want to read at least one of these a month. Then I have all the books that you have sent me that are not on my radar, that I haven't heard of before, that I didn't know about. I don't want to neglect these. I still want to read these, because just because they're not popular or talked about a ton here on YouTube, or at least on the channels that I follow, it doesn't mean that I don't want to read them. I want to find these hidden gems with you. So what I've done with these books is I've wrapped them. I bought way too much Christmas wrapping this year, so I just wrapped them all, and now my goal is to read one of these as well. I've wrapped them, I've numbered them, and I have all of the numbers in a little bowl that I'm going to draw from. So every month I will pick one book that I'm super excited about, that I already know about, that you guys have sent me, and one book that's not on my radar will be randomly selected for me to read that month as well. Okay, how did I do with this goal? So I've actually done quite well with the first part of the goal, which was to read 2 books that my subscribers sent me a month. Well, in 2020, you guys continued with your very generously sending me your favorite books, to the point where I had to shut down my P.O. box because I was drowning in them. I will be buried in books someday. So I'm doing great at that, because almost every book that I own has been sent to me by subscribers, and I'm chipping away at that pile very, very well. So I definitely have been reading 2 books a month that have been sent to me. As far as the wrapping books thing, that quickly didn't work out, because one, so many books were being sent to me that I would have had to buy more wrapping paper in order to continue wrapping them. It was ridiculous. So I cut out the unwrapping books each month, and now I just have a bookshelf full of books that people have sent me that I want to get to someday but aren't really high on my radar. And then I have a massive stack of books, you can't see it, it's not in the frame, of books that are on my radar that I want to read really, really soon. That stack is like 40 books that I want to read really, really soon. It's so intense. So I'm not doing the randomly select one book that's not on my radar and then pick one that is on my radar. I'm not doing that, because almost everything that I read is sent to me by you guys, and because I became a mood reader this year. We've talked about it a lot. I used to be able to just pick up any book at any point in time and read it, and I enjoyed it the amount that I enjoyed it. I didn't need to be in a certain mood for a certain book. I'm not that way anymore. I'm very much a mood reader now. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I get a half point for this, because I'm definitely reading books that my subscribers have sent me, but I changed up the formula in which I'm doing it. So half point maybe. My next goal is to read at least one self-published book a month. I Yes, I technically succeeded at this, but not to the level that I was hoping to succeed. So I said that I wanted to, I went on about this in the video, but I said that I wanted to read at least one self-pub book a month. And then I also said that DNFs do count. So technically I did succeed at this. I actually, whenever I either DNF, did not finish, when I either quit on a self-pub book or I read a self-pub book that I know I'm not going to give a high or favorable rating to, I just don't talk about them on my channel, because my goal with reading self-pub books is that I want to, you know, help out self-pub authors, and I already know that it's difficult for self-published authors to get their name out there, and I don't really want to make it harder on them, so I won't negatively talk about self-pub books. I just won't talk about them, because I'm not going to lie. But I also just, like, I don't want to make it harder on people, especially people that it's already hard to get their leg up. You get it. So technically I did succeed at this. I at least tried at least one self-pub book every single month, but they didn't always make it into the wrap-ups. So in 2020, I am adjusting this rule a little bit. Not rule, this goal a little bit. In 2021, I'm adjusting this goal a little bit. But technically I did succeed at this. I just was hoping to succeed a little bit better. Next goal is going to be to read at least one nonfiction book a month. I did this. I was really intentional about this, and every single month, all 12 months, I read at least one nonfiction book a month, sometimes more, and it's been great. It's been a great experience for me. Now my goal is just for my monthly TBRs. I only want to talk about 6 to 7 books a month on my TBR. Okay, I failed this. I did really well for like 2 months, and I only talked about 5-ish books, or maybe 7, I don't know. I only talked about a few books per month that I wanted to read that month. But the problem was I had so many goals, you know, like I needed to unwrap a book every month, and then I needed to talk about the book that my subscriber sent that I was going to read, that I was excited about, and then I need to talk about the nonfiction, and I need to talk about the self-pub, and it was like, it became so much that then I ended up making my TBRs ridiculously long again, but then I turned into a mood reader, and then I just took away TBRs altogether. I don't even make TBRs anymore, except for just the buddy reads that we have on the Patreon server and the public server. So I just failed. I just didn't do this. It was a fail. I forgot this was even a goal. My last goal, this is the big one. This is the one that's going to take a lot of organization, a lot of strength, a lot of motivation, is I plan to finish every series that I have started. What? That was a goal of mine? Oh, what? Okay, hang on. Hold on. Ma'am, you failed this goal. Okay, I'm looking at and I'll have it on the screen too. I'm looking at the list of books, of series that I wanted to see through in 2020, and then promptly forgot about. I did 3. I did 3 of them. Wow, that's the biggest fail I think I've ever had in any goal video on my channel. That's impressively bad. I don't even remember setting this goal. I didn't think about it the whole year. Whoops. Well, that was fun. I think I successfully did one of these. Like, properly did a good job on one of these. But I maybe succeeded at 3. I really haven't been keeping count. Ooh, it was bad. All right, so that was the goals check-in of 2020. Congratulations, Murph, you're a failure. Now let's set some goals for 2021, now that we've been motivated and inspired. I have 5 goals that I'm setting for myself in 2021, and most of them are really casual. The reason is because hopefully we're gonna bring our child home in 2021. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't heard me talk about it, we are in the middle of an adoption process. It's been a journey. We started the adoption process, I think, in January of 2020, and it's been a year to be adopting. A lot of things have been held up because it's a lot of waiting on government stuff, and it's been a year of things standing still. But despite that, our adoption process has been moving. It's been moving slowly, but it has been moving, which I'm really, really grateful for. There will be an adoption update soonish. I'm waiting for us to get to a certain point in the adoption process to actually do the update video, but things are moving really well lately. and it's really exciting. So hopefully we get to bring our baby home. Well, she'll be a toddler. Hopefully we get to bring our child home in 2021, hopefully in the beginning of 2021. And I'm really excited about that. So I will not be making myself some massive, huge goals because I have no idea what reading is gonna look like in 2021. I'm still going to be posting videos. I love this channel and I have no desire to take a break from it, or at least not an extended break. There might be a small gap of time. I'm gonna pre-film videos so that I can take a maternity leave after we bring her home, and there will still be some videos up, less videos, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear. But I'm definitely still gonna be around because I love this channel and it's not going anywhere. But I don't know what video schedules are gonna look like, and I don't know what reading life is going to look like. So I'm not putting any pressure on myself. There's no number of books I plan to read goal. I never do that because I don't like putting pressure on my reading. I like it being an enjoyable thing. I want these goals to be something to facilitate a more enjoyable reading experience, not a more challenging reading experience. So no set number goals, nothing too ambitious, but here's my 5 goals. I'm going to continue on with 2 of my goals that I had in 2022 that I actually succeeded at. I still want to be reading at least 1 self-pub book a month and at least 1 nonfiction book a month. It's really easy for me to pull from books that we're going to be able to discuss because the whole point of this channel, the thing that I love about this channel, is talking about books with other readers, having people to discuss stories with. Naturally, the stories, the books that I'm going to be able to talk to you guys the most about are going to be books that are traditionally published because they're more well-known, and that are fiction because there are more fiction readers out there than nonfiction, or at least on this platform in BookTube there are. But I enjoy self-pub books and want to continue supporting self-pub authors, and I enjoy nonfiction books and want to continue reading nonfiction books. So at least 1 of these each month. I'm adjusting the goal so that DNFs don't count. So whether I decide to talk about it on my channel or not, I want 1 to appear each month. And my other reading goal is going to be for every month that I am reading, all 3 of these goals that I'm talking, the self-pub, the nonfiction, and this goal, all 3 of these are flexible while I'm on maternity leave after we brought our child home. If I'm not reading those months, I get a break. That's the flexibility I get. But in the months that I'm definitely reading, the 3rd goal is going to be that I read at least 4 different genres per month. I read a lot of genres. I love a lot of genres. I love literary fiction. I love thrillers, horror, science fiction, fantasy. I mean, most genres out there I get enjoyment out of. There are some, like historical fiction and mystery, that I have a little bit of a harder time picking up and getting into, but I still read them sometimes a little. Anyway, my point is each month I want to make sure that there's variety because it's easiest for me to pick up fantasy because this is a very popular genre. On BookTube, it's a genre that a lot of commenters are saying, read this book, and I want to talk books with you, so I tend to pick up the books you tell me to read. But I want to make room for these other genres that I love so much as well, so making sure that I have variety, at least 4 different genres in each month. I don't know if I'll continue doing wrap-ups now that I'm reviewing every book that I read. We'll play that one by ear, but at least every month I want 4 genres, except for the maternity months. We'll see what happens. For a yearly goal, what I'd like to see myself accomplish by the end of the year. So one thing that I'm not completely happy with, the way I've balanced, is making room for books that I'm personally really, really excited about. I tend to get excited about things that other people are excited about. So if my friends read something and they love it, I want to read it too so we can talk about it. If you guys are regularly recommending a book, I want to read it too so we can talk about it. And a lot of times I'll push off the books that I'm personally really, really excited about to make room for books that other people are excited about. And don't get me wrong, I love doing that because I love chatting with people about books. But it's gotten a little bit ridiculous to the point where Best Served Cold is a book that I said I wanted to read, I think in February or March, didn't get to it until December, kept planning to pick it up, kept saying I was going to pick it up, but then other people were excited about other things, I would pick up other things. I like that I do this. I like that I'm so excited to chat books with people and make room for what other people are excited about, but I need to make more room for some of the books that I'm really excited about too and have a better balance. The way I'm facilitating that within a goal is my goal is to read at least 3 books from all of the authors that made it into my favorite authors video this year. I'll link it in the corner and down in the description. I had 6 authors in that video. I want to read at least 3 books from every one of these authors this year, which is a lot of books. I don't know if it's realistic, and it's okay if I don't succeed at this goal. The point is, I want to try to get there. I want to make room for some of my favorite authors that I don't read enough of. I mean, I read a lot of Sanderson, but he's pretty much the only author that I read a lot of in my favorite I read a lot of Bachman. Fine. It's a goal. It's my goal. And my last goal for 2021 is I'd like to keep track of every book that I read. I'm so bad at updating Goodreads, and I think in 2021 I'll probably be switching to Storygraph, but I'm sure I'll be just as bad at updating that. I'm so bad. I genuinely don't know how many books I read in 2020 because I don't update those things. When I figure out how many books I read, I'm gonna have to go through all my wrap-ups every month of the year to figure it out because I'm not good at updating these things. I want to do better. I don't care if I use a website or if I just use a notebook. I want to do better about actually keeping track of the books that I'm reading. Not so I can have some number, but just so that I can, when I'm creating a video and I'm trying to do recommendations, I want to have a list of the books that I've read because right now I really don't have one. And I keep going on Goodreads to look at the books that I've read so that I can formulate these recommendations videos, and I'm looking at my Goodreads and I'm like, there's more books and I can't remember them all off the top of my head, so I want to do better at actually keeping up with what I'm reading. Hi, hello, Murphy from the future. That's my light. Background noise is my husband and my son. I've thought about this for a few days now, and I've decided I'm definitely not continuing with Goodreads, and I'm not going to move on to Storygraph. I'm just going to do the notebook thing that I talked about. Reason being is because I really don't enjoy ratings. Video right there if you want to check it out. And I really like the idea of just keeping track of the books that I read for myself and not having any sort of count or any sort of statistics formulated for me. I think the reason it appeals to me so much is because not rating things online kind of gets me one step closer mentally to what I want this channel to be, which is just me hanging out, chatting books with people. And if there's no official rating anywhere, and I'm literally just putting my thoughts out there on the channel and then leaving it, I feel like I've gotten one step closer. So I really love that idea. I know it'll be a little bit inconvenient for anybody that wants to real quick search what I'm reading, but I'm already bad at keeping up with Goodreads, so it's not that different from what's happening already. And now that I review every single book that I read on my channel, you can use the search bar on my channel to find my thoughts on books. So that's the decision I've made. A notebook. I'm going back to a notebook and I feel really good about it. So there you go. That's the video. Those are my goals of 2020 and how I did, as well as my goals of 2021. It'll be fun to laugh at them at the end of next year at how poorly I did at those too. I'd love to keep chatting about this in the comments. I post videos every Tuesday through Friday. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.